It's time now to introduce our prep pundit, Chris Smith. You can follow Chris on Twitter at TopDog619. That's at TopDog619. Chris, when the football schedule came out, Helix and St. Augustine was obviously going to be our Week 5 game of the week. We flexed it to City game of the week because we wanted to get all over that San Marcos El Camino game. Did we make a mistake?
No, I think, these teams are going in opposite directions right now, honestly. After the loss to Paraclete, I think Helix is a lot more focused right now. They got a little chip on their shoulder. They don't like losing games. They're not used to that over in La Mesa. And Saints are struggling a little bit. I mean, they struggled last week to put away Otay Ranch. So I kind of see, and the injury bug is biting Saints as well. Kind of see these teams going in different directions right now. So I think you guys made the right decision.
The big news in the offseason was a Saint turned Scotty, Isaac Taylor Stewart, transferring schools. Did he transfer the power structure as well in the section?
Originally I thought this was just going to be the physical part of his game was going to make a big difference in the Helix program. And believe it or not, it's his leadership and his character. After that loss to Paraclete, he really stepped up and he's got the Scotties really, really focused. I think that does change the power, the balance in that game this year.
J.R. Justice, son of the big leaguer, he's going to play football for Rocky. He throws the ball, he catches the ball, he can't do both. What is he going to do on the Mesa, do you think?
Well, I mean, he was recruited by SDSU wide receiver coach Hunky Cooper. And Hunky, he's going to be a wideout. I don't see Hunky letting this kid go to any other parts of the defense, special teams. JR's a special kid. Hunky's a special coach. He likes his receivers big and physical, so I see him keeping him there as a wide receiver.
How big of a shock would it be if Stewart decides that, hey, I don't want to go to Bama, I want to stay right here and play football with the Mesa?
No, I mean, the kid's got every option in the world. He's got 51 D1 offers, like you said, but what's better than staying home and playing for the Aztecs, especially when, they knock off Stanford?
Then we know the program has arrived.
Absolutely.
They can score a 5-star plus recruit. East Lake is moving up the section rankings. Are the Titans for real, or are they just the benefactors of a good schedule?
Well, I think a little bit of both, honestly. I saw them early in the season at the SDFNL Kickoff Classic. They looked very strong. They struggled a little bit against Hilltop. They came back really, really strong with 4 interceptions against Grossmont. I think they've arrived. I think this team is for real.
All right, one of the reasons why you're sitting in that chair right now, and one of the reasons why you wear red for us, is you're now helming our Player of the Year committee. Last week we talked about all the kids who are candidates for the Silver Pigskin, which is our version of the Heisman. In Week 5, we released our Iron Hog list, which is our version of the Outland Trophy. It's an award that goes to the top interior linemen. Was that list easier to compile than the previous week's list?
I wish I could say yes, but in the offseason, I got to spend some time with Giant Skills, who helps train some of these offensive linemen, and as a result, I got to know some of these guys personally. With that said, it was a little harder because I know these guys so well, and there's so many good offensive linemen in San Diego.
All right, so we're going to talk about your top 3. So we figure that these kids are obviously on the watch list. Billy Dunkel, we're talking about East Lake. Talk about Billy Dunkel.
Well, Billy Dunkel is the only kid I know of the defensive linemen now have a term. Don't get dunkled. Okay?
So once you join the lexicon, you know you've arrived.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to put you on that when you go out there and dominate everybody with pancake blocks every week.
And up north, the Pirate, Donovan Leahy.
Donovan Leahy.
Talk about him a little bit.
Donovan Leahy is very tall, very strong, but the most important about him is he's mobile. I mean, this kid's a great pass blocker. He's a good run blocking. He's one of the best offensive linemen we have here in San Diego. I think he's got 5 Division I scholarship offers right now.
And the third kid comes from Point Loma, Folsom? Danny Folsom?
Davey Folsom.
Davey Folsom? Talk about him a little bit.
Davey Folsom is a big, physical, run-blocking offensive lineman. He will get downfield and knock your lights out.
So the list is out there for anybody who can see at KUSI.com/PPR. We put it up on all our sites. It's a tougher list in the sense that for the Silver Pigskin, for that watch list, we're going to have 6 finalists. We just have to pick one kid for Iron Hog, so there's not as many slots.
Absolutely.
Do you have one kid in mind? Or don't share it with us, but do you think it's right now pretty clear cut?
No, I think there's about 5 guys who legitimately have a shot at really taking home an award. I think it's not only your physical play, but it's your attitude. It's in the classroom. It's what you do in the community. That actually represents the best of high school football in San Diego.
All right, so more on that as the weeks go by. Every kid, I don't care what sport it is, we're obviously talking football here, but every high school athlete now has become his or her own agent, compiling their huddle video or whatnot. How important is it for a kid to have a highlight reel?
Well, after Week 4, all the college coaches and college recruiters begin to look at high school football film to see where you were in the spring versus where you are today. That's when some of the early decisions about what rank you are on their board of what guys they want to recruit. So it's very important for these kids to have their highlight tape after Week 4.
Back in the day when this show was just getting started, there would be agencies and people that would compile that tape for them. Now all the kids have realized, hey, I can do it myself.
Right.
What are some of the do's and don'ts? Music.
Well, yeah, and that's one thing. Coaches don't want to hear music, guys. Turn the music off. I've been in recruiting offices where the guy will sit there, reach over, and turn down his music. They're not impressed with the music you put on there. The most impressive part is good plays, good physical plays. Make sure you highlight yourself and make sure they're plays that you stand out in.
So, and how long should that tape be?
Keep your tapes less than 3 minutes long. Coaches don't want to watch 5 minutes of game film. They'll know within the first 30 to 45 seconds whether or not you have the caliber to play at the level that they're looking for.
Has this changed the landscape? Or just 10 seconds. Do we have the landscape? Has it changed? Are more college recruiters just watching huddle tape?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with the event of huddle, it's changed the entire game. No more, you don't have to send out 30 tapes. You can make one highlight tape and send out to 300 coaches, and you get more exposure. All
right, before we let you go, this section is missing 3 iconic, or at least long-time coaches. Willie Matson's out at Mission Bay. I don't know if you were watching this week. Hans Graham released his resignation lesson here on KUSI. No one knows what's going on at El Camino exactly, other than Jerry Ralph is MIA. Is the sport, it's being officiated differently. The rules are different. The athletes are different. It's being administered different. Is coaching also evolving? Can what you used to do as a coach 10 years ago now verboten?
Absolutely. I mean, the way that coaches communicate with players, the way they use social media, the way they interact with their players, like you said, the way they coach them as far as the safety of the game, all of that's changing. So you're going to see there's kind of the transition for coaches that have been here for a while and the new addition of coaches that are coming in now. There's a big difference between their coaching styles.
And the new guys are all social media gurus.
Absolutely. Guys like Kurt Hines over at Coronado. You see the guy on Twitter all the time. You see Drew Westling, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. He's always communicating with his players, his coaches, and the community of football around him.
Until next week, thank you for stopping by. That's it for the 5 o'clock hour. Don't forget, Steve Fisher's coming up in sports at 6:45. You're watching the KUSI News at 6 right now.